The myth of the invincible Russian army is melting away every day. It is becoming more and more difficult for Kremlin propagandists to explain why the army of the Federation first left the Kyiv, Chernihiv and Sumy regions, Zmyny Island and now the Kharkiv region. They are starting to prepare Russians for the idea of defeat, experts say.
Они сейчас ведут к тому, что Путин не виноват.
They are now leading to the point that it's not Putin's fault, he was the one who had been cheated. And secondly, they are leading the Russian society to defeat, saying that NATO countries are here and so on. But the narrative of what they say, we can now leave in order to attack later. And for this we must prepare. They are also preparing a revenge narrative. I do not rule out that they will continue to promote it. This is the most viable narrative to explain to the Russian population why they have now lost.
However, the Russians will not forgive Putin for losing the war, the Russian oppositionists themselves say. They say it will be the end of the regime.
This is a military defeat. It will mean the beginning of collapse. I'm just reminding you that the first Russian revolution was due to an attempt by the Tsar regime to organize change in Japan, not a very strong rival. And when they got hit and basically lost the whole fleet, the Tsar was not forgiven for this. He could have been forgiven for something else, but he was not forgiven for that. And that's why the revolution happened, which was caused by emotion, the strongest emotion. Now such an emotion can arise as a result of the defeat of Putinism in the war with Ukraine.
At the same time, with each new package of sanctions, Putin's inner circle remains less and less committed to continuing the war against Ukraine.
I
think that the Russian elites are already ready to give up separate areas of the Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics and get out of it. Such is the general concept. Most likely there are two key issues that remain open. First, what to do with Crimea? How to get out of there? In such a way as to save face. Or they can organize referendums and so on. And the second question, it is a question of reparations. They don't want to pay for obvious reasons. If on average it will be necessary to pay Ukraine from 300 to 500 billion US dollars, these are huge amounts even for Russia. Plus, it's a matter of national humiliation.
The only card Putin can play is nuclear weapons. In addition, the Russian army continues to control the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. However, this blackmail, according to experts, is unlikely to succeed.
Now Putin is like an infantryman who holds the last grenade in his hand and he must make a decision. Either he blows up this grenade and dies himself screaming, "I don't give up," or he gives up. Here are two options. I believe that he is not capable of this now, because both British and Americans, I have a quite suspicion that the Chinese also warned him, that no one will protect him from an instantaneous immediate nuclear strike with these nuclear supplies penetrating deep into the earth, which will destroy it on the same day. If it launches a nuclear strikes, destroys all its bunkers, storage facilities, and so on and so forth.
At the same time, the key to the victory of Ukraine and the destruction of Putin's regime lies in the stable and growing support of the West, military, political and financial, and Kyiv has already enlisted this support. Reported by Serhiy Kulyas, Larisa Zubenko, UATV News.